Hi, welcome to Audrey Thorne Aesthetics. I'm here to talk to you about skin clearing services, what we can treat with the skin clearing device, and what is involved with the recovery time. So what we can treat are skin tags, keratosis, milia, sebaceous hyperplasia, and cherry angiomas. So skin tags, I feel like everybody knows what a skin tag is, and you can get these on your neck, your underarms, your bra line, and your groin. Anywhere there's friction is where we tend to get skin tags. Keratosis are a buildup of keratin. They're usually hard, scratchy, like really, like when you feel them, they're rough in texture, raised. And they can be a lot of different colors. They can be very dark or almost flesh colored. And a lot of times, if they're very small, you can't see them, but you can feel them. So we can treat those. Milia are basically little tiny cysts filled with keratin. And you see them a lot of times around the eye here. Little tiny hard white dots. You try to squeeze it, nothing comes out. That's a milia. Sebaceous hyperplasia. So sebaceous hyperplasia is basically when sebum comes outside of a pore and it gets onto the outside, right? So you try to squeeze it and it won't come up through the pores because it's broken outside of that barrier. And a lot of times it has that little donut shape. So we can treat those. In that sort of family of milia and sebaceous hyperplasia are clogged pores. And we can treat those as well. So sometimes a clogged pore almost becomes like a sebaceous cyst, and we can definitely treat those. Then cherry angiomas. So again, I feel like a lot of people know what cherry angiomas are, but they may not have heard the word cherry angiomas. Sometimes they're called strawberries. Not the bigger ones that are like birthmarks that you have at birth, but the little ones that are really domed, bright red. Little circles, and those can be really small or they can get pretty big, like the size of a normal sized mole. Okay, moles are one thing we can't treat, so sorry about that. In other states with this machine you can, but not here in New Hampshire. Okay, so again, skin tags, keratosis, milia, sebaceous hyperplasia, clogged pores and sebaceous cysts, and cherry angiomas. So what is the treatment? The treatment is we use electrodesiccation to dehydrate the tissue, and a couple of things can happen. So for skin tags and keratosis, that means that the tissue dries up and falls off. If it has a liquid in it, so cherry angiomas have blood and blood vessels inside. Sebaceous hyperplasia, milia, they also have sebum or keratin inside. So when there's already a liquid inside, it does dehydrate the tissue as well, but nothing falls off, okay? So sebaceous hyperplasia, the sebum inside will sort of bubble up out of the skin. The skin gets broken a little bit, and as it heals, that stuff just flakes right off. Same thing for clogged pores and milia. You know, you treat the irregularity, it dehydrates, it scabs up, it falls off. Okay, so cherry angiomas is a little bit different because there are blood vessels and blood in there. So when we treat them, it dehydrates the blood, it coagulates the blood, and it collapses the blood vessels. So immediately it's flatter and lighter. But then it can get darker because that blood inside has turned like that purpley black, like almost like a blood blister. Not as dark as that, but that same tone. And that can take up to 3 weeks for that to resolve, for the body to take away that dried blood, okay? So in terms of recovery time, skin tags and keratosis, you're gonna see those irregularities dry up and fall off within, say, 4 to 5 days. It can be sooner. I've had people as soon as 1 day it's gone. It can be longer. I've had people up to 7 to 10 days. Generally, it's 4 or 5. So we treat your skin tags on your neck. They get like all crusty and like dry, and then they just fall off in a couple of days. It's that simple. Milia, it's going to form a scab. It's going to fall off within a week. And then with milia and sebaceous hyperplasia, those are both the same. That scab is going to resolve within a week or so, but you're going to have a little pink spot, right? So whenever you lose a scab, you've got a little pink spot of freshly healed skin. You will have that. Cherry angiomas are a little bit different. Like I said, they're going to tend to look a little bit darker at first, flatter, but darker. And then it can take up to 3 weeks or a month to truly have all of that color gone. So that's how that works. There are a couple of contraindications, some people that this is not appropriate for, and those are pregnant people, people with heart conditions, like not even heart conditions really, but like heart appliances, like pacemakers and defibrillators and things like that. I don't know if those are the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a cardiologist. I don't know. But we can treat them if you get clearance from your doctor and we have a note, okay? Anybody with melasma, we don't want to treat the area of melasma because the electrodesiccation creates heat, and some types of melasma will respond to that, and we can end up with hyperpigmentation. People with serious autoimmune disorders, people who are immunocompromised, okay, for obvious reasons. So again, these things treat very quickly. They resolve within a week or so. So it's a nice treatment. It's actually a lot better than what your dermatologist offers, because what they do, the freezing and the burning, the recovery time is uglier and not as fast. So what was the other thing I was going to say? Hold on a second. It'll come to me. Okay, so the treatment itself, we have a probe, we run the current through, and does it hurt? Yes, it hurts a little bit, okay? Most people think it's a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. It's very, very sharp. It's very kind of startling, like, oh. But almost as soon as you think that, the treatment is over, because each, like, let's say you've got some little skin tags here, each one is going to take me 3 to 5 seconds to treat. So you're like, oh, and then it's over. Your bigger irregularities, because keratosis can sometimes get up to about that big. Those can take a little bit longer, so there's a little more pain involved. But generally, it's really well tolerated. Most people find like, it wasn't the most fun I ever had, but it was over so quickly that, and then they're so pleased with the results that, they're happy about it. So pricing, you can find on the website. We start at $99. We go up to a couple of $100 depending on how many you have. So how it works is when you come in, you can just go ahead and schedule a level of 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how many you think you have. And then we will count them and you will be quoted a firm price before we begin treatment, okay? Now, some people require more than one treatment for the irregularities, yes, sometimes, and for the number of irregularities that they have. So, for instance, we might find that, you've got a large keratosis, we need 2 treatments to really tackle it. Sometimes we can treat skin tags or keratosis, and most of it comes off, and we've got a little, looks like a little nub that can be left, and sometimes we have to treat that again. Retreatment is always included in your original cost, and we do that 30 days after the initial treatment. Some people have a lot of irregularities, dozens and dozens, sometimes even hundreds. Keratosis, especially if somebody gets keratosis, they can tend to get them on their torso, and we can have, dozens and dozens at each sitting. And so sometimes if you've got a couple of hundred of them, we're going to take it in sections. You know what I mean? Because it's too much to do it all at once. There are too many wounds, and it's hard to tolerate the treatment for, long periods, 20, 30, 40 minutes. So sometimes we're going to break that up, okay? If you guys have questions, you can call me, 603-396-9451. You can go on audreythorne.com. There's a whole written out section also in the skin clearing overview, which is where you found this video. So just scroll below. And then you can also email me at audreythorne1@gmail.com with any questions. I'm here to help. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.